It's terribly important, okay? When you don't believe in yourself, you need other people to believe in you so you can go forward.
Standing here in the heart of Chicago, Millennium Park, next to the Bean, maybe you've heard the saying, the biggest hurdles you face as a business owner is sometimes yourself. Hey everybody, Jeff Kraft, welcome to another season of InTRUview. As we enter the first episode of season number 4 of InTRUview, I had the chance to sit down with Mario Hernandez, owner of Allegro Dental Lab. Now, he's been in business for over 20 years, so he's certainly overcome many hurdles and a philosophy that he has, which I can greatly respect. If you're going to do it right the first time. Mario, how you doing, bud? Jeff, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. So this is where all the magic happens.
This is where the magic happens. This is where we do more of the hands-on work, the old style.
And how much staff are in here?
About 15.
Okay.
About 15, there's maybe 16, 17 with staff, or with administrative and everything else.
Yeah.
Let's come into the office. Let's finish up this conversation.
Okay. Mario, I want to know about your beginning. Where did you grow up? Tell me about your parents, brothers, sisters. Tell me about that. Let's start at the beginning.
I am Cuban, so I was born in Cuba. My parents decided that things in Cuba were not good, so they packed up and left Cuba, and we came in 1967. My aunt was living in Chicago, and she said, you know, the jobs are a little bit better here, and everybody's saturating into Miami. So we came to Chicago, and it made a go of it, you know, with my parents. My dad used to fix typewriters. My mom was a stay-at-home mom for most of our young years, and then as we got a little bit older, she started working for American Airlines in their kitchen area. We got to travel a lot as a family: Hawaii, Texas, California. So it was nice.
You played sports?
I did. Football, basketball, and then when I figured that I wasn't going to grow anymore, and you know, and to not jump like 7 feet off the ground, then so I just started working in high school, and that was my first job, was a dental lab job. Turned out that I was fairly good at it.
So after you worked in the lab, what'd you do after?
After I worked in the lab, I was in high school, and then I went to a community college, and got an associate degree, and then I decided to go and try to get into dental school. So I started taking a bunch of chemistries and biologies, and and going into that path, and then I ended up meeting a special lady, and we ended up getting married. I decided to go back to the laboratory, and I went back to work.
Before you decided to, acquire, the lab, did that ever cross your mind before to start your own? Or did you just say, you know what, this is the industry I want to be in, and I'm just going to work in the industry? And then it just happened to be that you decided to buy the lab.
I didn't dream of owning my own business. I just wanted to be happy and, and do well, whichever path that led to. I had somebody that I knew was selling the lab. I put the deal together for my former employer. He backed out of the deal, but I had all the figures there, and I just sat down with my wife and I just said, hey, there's this opportunity there. I can let it go and just stay where I'm at, or we can kind of go for it. So, and that's exactly what we did.
Building a team was one of the most important elements of building a business. How did you start building the team that you wanted?
Well, the team, I actually acquired the team because I ended up buying a lab, and at the time everybody was Polish. They were very hardworking people and very loyal, so it was it wasn't so much a team, it was more like a family, to tell you the truth. So we just had each other's back, and never 9 to 5. It was always like, hey, I want to come in 7 because I want to leave at 3. Fine with me. I want to come at 9, leave at 6, fine with me. So it did, as long as the work got done, I was pretty flexible with with hours and stuff like that.
What is your current philosophy for managing, owning a business, but managing the family, not necessarily the staff, but the family?
I don't like repeating things. So if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right, work hard, put an honest day's worth of work in. I don't ask somebody to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. So that's kind of like my philosophy. If I can make you better than me, then that's the people I want around, you know what I mean? I don't want to be like the smartest person in the room. And I've always done that, you know, early on, and I continue to do that now.
People in general, they seem to move more towards technology and have technology drive their business, and it might be a new way of doing business, but sometimes the old way of doing business is still the better way. Do you ever incorporate the old way of business into what's currently going on here in the industry?
You have to, okay? You can't just throw out everything that you've learned and experienced. So you have to always incorporate some of the old stuff with some of the new stuff, and that's what keeps it innovating.
You know, what are the older way of doing business within the team, the staff, the technicians, is paying per piece? A lot of labs don't do that anymore. Talk about why you still continue to pay per piece, per unit to the techs.
Well, it's precise as far as like timing, you know, so not everybody works at the same rate, at the same pace. Like I have technicians that can do, let's say, 15 crowns a day. I have some that can do 10 crowns a day. So in that sense, I can kind of pay them, and it acts like an incentive, you know, for them as well. In our situation, there's 3 laboratories here. So it would be kind of hard for them to punch in a clock, you know, for 3 different people, you know, and so we just kind of like put all the work in a pool, and then they just take the work that they're capable of doing, and then they get paid on that, you know. So it's a little more exacting for us and for the technicians.
Let's talk about those 3 companies. How did all of that come under one roof, and why?
It came about with myself and Joe, who's my best friend. He owns a laboratory very similar to mine, and he was buying technology and I was buying technology, and you know, it was expensive at the time. So when the opportunity presented itself, it allowed us to buy more technology, pay it off faster, and still use it all before it became obsolete, before we had to buy the next great technology.
So the lab industry is ever evolving, it's changing very fast, and you have to be able to change with it. But business, it stays the same. What do you enjoy most about owning a business?
The flexibility of it. Okay, so it gives me a certain amount of flexibility, not completely. I can't just go for 2 weeks or come back and I wouldn't have a business, but I can definitely go take in a ball game. Cubs play during the day, you know what I mean? So in that sense, it's good, but at the back end of it, I might have to come and work on a Saturday or a Sunday, it gives me that flexibility to come in on a Sunday morning, which is actually kind of nice. It's kind of nice to be in here when the phone's not ringing and get your work done, and you know.
It's been 6 to 7 years now that I've been working with Joe and Mario. That's Oral Image and Allegro Dental Lab. He's the kind that will push you to try to learn new things. He'll push you, and then eventually you figure it out yourself. Otherwise, if he didn't do that, it would just, you know, be static. He'll be the first to go and, you know, just drop everything and help.
Morning. How are you?
You know, very generous and kind to his employees, you know. So that's the kind of, you know, leader he is.
It's terribly important, okay? When you don't believe in yourself, you need other people to believe in you so you can go forward. Well, it's important that we don't come down too hard when a mistake is made, because we make mistakes all the time. I make mistakes all the time. So when their mistake is made, don't you know, rehash, you know, what happened. Just fix it, learn from it, and go forward, and hopefully it won't happen again. From everyone here, we appreciate, respect all that you do. Asha, Kasha, Aga, Jillian, Esteban, Wojtek, Sisuk. So thank you. I appreciate all that they do as well. It's a very special relationship to have, you know, with them, especially, you know, some of them have been with me for 20 years, over 20 years. It is a family. I don't consider it a total work environment. It's a lot of family, a lot of understanding, and a lot of love. Oh, wow. Wow, this is cool. Thank you. I'm not going to share. I'm going to share these, okay?
Yeah,
All right.